You can do everything right with your money and still lose. Work hard, save, invest, crush your debt, and still end up tens of thousands of dollars behind someone who earns the exact same paycheck as you? How? They did it in the right order, and you didn't. Because there's a correct sequence for every spare dollar you have, and almost nobody follows it. Most people invest before they're safe. They attack the wrong debt first. And there's one mistake, the single most expensive money mistake there is, that even smart, disciplined people make without ever noticing. I'll name it at the very end, and once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. But it has nothing to do with which fund you pick. First, let's build the staircase that fixes all of this. Quick note, this is education, not financial advice. Here's what nobody tells you. It's not about how much you save, it's about where each dollar goes. Because the same dollar is worth wildly different amounts depending on the step it lands on. A dollar that grabs an employer match, instantly worth 2. A dollar that kills a 24% credit card? It just earned you a guaranteed 24%, something no investment on earth can promise. But a dollar you throw into stocks while you've got no safety net? That one might get yanked back out at the worst possible moment and you lock in a loss. Same dollar, 3 completely different fates. So stop thinking about working harder for a second. The people who quietly win aren't earning the most, they're sequencing the best. We're walking your money down a staircase, one step at a time, and you don't get to step 2 until step 1 is handled. Step 1 is the floor. Before anything clever, you need $1,000 in cash. That's it, not your full emergency fund, a starter buffer, a shock absorber. Because here's what happens without it. The next flat tire, the next surprise bill, goes straight onto a credit card, and you slide backward while you thought you were climbing. Meet Maya. She makes $60 grand, has a $4,000 credit card eating her alive, a student loan, and a job that offers a 401k match. Step 1 for Maya isn't sexy, it's boring. It's $1,000 sitting in a savings account doing nothing. And it's the most important boring thing she'll ever do, because it's the difference between a bad week and a brand new spiral of debt. Once that floor exists, Maya goes and grabs the best deal in all of personal finance. It's free, and almost everyone walks right past it. This is the step people fumble the most, so pay attention. If your job offers a 401k match, grabbing it comes second, ahead of even your credit cards. Why so high? Because a match is an instant, guaranteed 100% return. If your company matches the first 5% you put in, that's free money equal to 5% of your salary every single year. Maya's match is $3,000 a year just sitting there waiting for her to say yes. Turning that down to do anything else is like your boss offering you a raise and you saying, no thanks. And yet people do it constantly, usually muttering, I can't afford it. Hold that thought because that excuse is wrong, and I'll prove it with cold numbers in a minute. For now, take the full match. Not a dollar less. Then we go hunting for the debt that's quietly robbing you. Now we go to war, but only with the expensive debt, credit cards, payday loans, anything charging more than about 8%. Here's the logic that makes this a no-brainer. Paying off a 20% credit card is a guaranteed, tax-free 20% return. The stock market averages maybe 7 to 10, and it's not guaranteed at all. So if you're carrying a 20% balance and investing at the same time, you're losing 20 to chase 8. That's not investing, that's a leak. So Maya throws every spare dollar at that card until it's ash. But, and this matters, her 5% student loan does not belong here. Cheap debt under 5 or 6% gets handled way later. I'll tell you exactly where it lands and why dead last is the smart answer. Kill the expensive stuff first. Then we build the real safety net. Remember Maya's $1,000 floor? Now it grows up. Step 4 is a full emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, parked in a high-yield savings account where it actually earns something. This is what lets her survive a layoff, a medical bill, a brutal quarter, without selling investments or reaching for a card. But here's the part people miss. This fund isn't just defense, it's what makes her investing work. Because she knows she'll never be forced to sell in a panic, she can leave her investments alone to grow through every crashed and scary headline. The people who skip this step and sprint straight to investing? They're the exact people who panic sell at the bottom when life hits. Protection first. Always. And now, finally, the fun part. Making money multiply. Match captured. Expensive debt dead. Safety net up. Now Maya pours money into tax-advantaged accounts, a Roth IRA, then back into her 401ks past the match. These accounts are the heavy machinery of wealth because the money compounds for decades with a giant tax shield wrapped around it. A boring, low-cost index fund inside a Roth IRA fed consistently, that is, quietly, how a staggering number of totally ordinary people become millionaires. No stock picking, no genius. Here's the catch that creates urgency. The contribution room is use it or lose it. Miss this year's, and it's gone forever. You can't go back in 2030 and fund your 2026 Roth, so you fill the space before investing anywhere else. Then, and only then, do we reach the final steps, including the home of that cheap debt I keep teasing. Once the tax-advantaged accounts are full, the rest is about your life. Want to retire early? Open a regular brokerage account and keep buying index funds. Saving for a house? Build the down payment. And here, finally, is where Maya's 5% student loan shows up. Dead last. Why? Because every dollar above it had a higher paying job to do first. Paying off cheap debt early isn't wrong at this stage, it's just an emotional choice now, not a math one, because the numbers are close enough that peace of mind is allowed to win. That's the whole reason cheap debt waits at the bottom, not because it doesn't matter, but because your money was worth more everywhere else first. Let's kill that excuse from step 2, with numbers. I can't afford to contribute to get the match. Watch. Maya earned $60,000, the match is 5%, $3,000 of free money a year. Skip it for 10 years and she didn't lose $30,000. She lost that plus a decade of growth on it, easily $50,000 to $100,000 by retirement, from saying no thanks 10 times. And here's the kicker, because 401 comes out before taxes, putting in enough to get the match costs her take-home pay far less than what actually lands in the account. She might give up $40 a paycheck to receive over $100. Almost nobody truly can't afford that. They just never saw the real math. Now you have... Let's name the order mistakes that wreck people for years, see if any sting. Investing in the market while carrying a 20% card. Overpaying a 3% mortgage while ignoring the free match. Dumping everything into stocks with zero emergency fund, then being forced to sell at the bottom. Chasing the newest hot coin before any foundation exists. Notice the pattern? Everyone is an order mistake, not an effort mistake. These people aren't lazy. They're working hard and still falling behind because their dollars are standing on the wrong step. That's the cruel part. Effort was never their problem. Here's the relief. Once you know the order, you never have to think about it again. You automate it. Maya sets her 401 task to auto-grab the match from payroll. She auto-transfers to savings until the emergency fund is full, then reroutes that exact transfer into her Roth. Her index funds buy themselves every month, crash or boom, no decision required. The wealthy aren't sitting there making heroic willpower choices every month. They built the staircase once and let the machine carry their money down it. Your job is to set the order, then get out of your own way and let it run. Let's fast forward Maya 10 years, because this is where it gets satisfying. She followed the order. Floor, match, killed the card, built the fund, maxed the Roth. Now picture her coworker. Call him Dan, same salary, same 10 years. Dan did it backwards, invested in random stocks while carrying that credit card, skipped the match because he couldn't afford it, never built a buffer. Today, Maya's got a fat retirement account compounding quietly and zero high-interest debt. Dan's still carrying a balance, still has no emergency fund, and panic sold his stocks in the last downturn. Same paycheck, same decade. The gap between them is tens of thousands of dollars and climbing, and not $1 of it came from Maya earning more. It all came from the order. That gap is the whole reason this video exists. Now, what if you don't have a steady paycheck? Freelancer, gig worker, commission, a business that booms and busts? The staircase still works. With one tweak, your emergency fund goes bigger. Where a salaried person might keep 3 months, you want closer to 6 or even 12 because your income can drop to 0 through no fault of your own. So you'd build a slightly larger floor in step 1 and lean toward the bigger end of the emergency fund in step 4. The max step might look different too. No employer 401k. Then a SEP IRA or solo 401k takes that slot. The sequence doesn't change. The sizes do. Unstable income doesn't break the order. It just means you build the safety layers a little taller before you climb. Here's the uncomfortable part. You probably already knew some of this and still did it out of order. Why? Because the right order feels wrong emotionally. Paying a boring credit card feels worse than buying an exciting stock. Building a savings account that just sits there feels like doing nothing while your friend brags about crypto. Your brain is wired for the exciting move and the visible win, not the quiet, correct one. That's the real enemy here, not a lack of information, but the pull toward what feels productive over what is productive. The people who win just make peace with boring. They let the unsexy steps happen on autopilot so their feelings never get a vote. Beating your own brain is half the battle, and automation is how you win it. So here it is in one breath. 1. $1,000 floor. 2. Grab the full match, the free money. 3. Destroy expensive debt. 4. A 3 to 6 month emergency fund. 5. Max your Roth and retirement accounts. 6. Everything else. And finally, cheap debt, dead last. Don't skip. Don't rearrange. The same income builds a wildly different future depending on which step each dollar lands on. Effort isn't the unlock, order is. And now, the mistake I promised, the most expensive one of all. It's not on the staircase. It's waiting. It's reading all of this, nodding, and then doing nothing because you're not sure you're on the perfect step. Here's the truth that should light a fire. An imperfect plan you start today crushes a perfect plan you start in 3 years. Because the one thing you can never buy back is time. And time is what makes compounding work. Every month you wait is a month of growth gone forever. So don't wait for perfect. Open the account. Grab the match this week. Take one step today. Step 1 is just $1,000 in savings. You can start that tonight. If this gave you a plan you didn't have an hour ago, subscribe for more straight talking money guides. Now go take step 1. You can start it tonight.